What is up, guys? It's Vince the Prince back again for another week of power rankings. So, football is going by pretty fast, but obviously, guys, we want to make the most of it. So, let's get to the criteria that we go by. And now let's get right into it. At number 1, I have the Detroit Lions. Yes, moving up one spot. Obviously, you'll see why in a little bit later on. But they beat the Bengals. And they could have beat the Bengals by more. Yes, I do agree. But Detroit's offense still looks stellar. The defense could have played a little bit better, but Cincinnati was just making some great plays. Jake Browning looked like a better quarterback. Jamar Chase finally came back. Chase Brown was getting a little bit of work there, here and there. But Detroit just looks good. In my opinion, I do think they have one of the better offenses in the league. We'll talk about the next offense in a little bit at number 2. But going into next week, they're facing the Kansas City Chiefs before Rashee Rice comes back. So, in my opinion, Detroit has the upper hand here. I think this game should be a dub, in my opinion. But we'll have to wait and see, just hoping that the Detroit Lions continue to play well. Kansas City doesn't pull a fast one since this is a game in Arrowhead. So we'll see. I think the Detroit Lions should win this away game, but Kansas City always has some tricks up their sleeve. Maybe some cash, being shoveled under the table there. We won't talk about that too much, but in my opinion, if Detroit plays the same way they did this past week on Sunday Night Football, they should be playing a pretty good game and win this one too. At number 2, I have the next best offense, the Buccaneers. Putting up 38 on the Seahawks, I think was pretty dang good. It was a pretty stellar game. Really glad that I watched this one start to finish, as I should as a Seahawks fan. But this was a great one. I think the Buccaneers are playing very good football, having their 4 wins be comeback wins in the last quarter, the last 5 minutes or so. But they really put a stunner on us. Emeka Egbuka is the next best thing since sliced bread. I always say this, but Emeka is the real deal. Ohio State receivers like Jackson Smith and Jigba and Emeka Egbuka are the next guys to take over this league, and they're already doing it in year 2 and year 1. So right now, Tampa Bay is my number 2 team. Defensively, obviously, they have a lot to work on, so their defensive I guess DVOA, however you want to say it, the criteria that I use needs to be better, right? And that's why they're not number 1 at this point in time, being at 4-1, exactly like the Lions. So the Lions' defense is just better, in my opinion. But the Buccaneers' offense makes up for it. Baker Mayfield's playing on another level, as he should be, in my opinion. He has a great team around him, and they're only going to get healthier when Mike Evans comes back. Same thing with the running back there, Bucky Irving. He wasn't playing this game, but they found out that their backup was just as good. So in my opinion, I think this team is well-rounded on the offensive side, and with Vita Vea leading the charge on the defensive side, I think they'll just continue to get better. They are a hard-hitting defense, and I think they should do well against Tampa Bay. This is a home game for them, so it's going to be, hopefully fairly hot. But San Francisco is not recluse to the hot weather themselves. But this one should be a good one. Battle of the Titans at 4-1 here, basically. 325 window. I'm looking forward to this game, and I hope the Buccaneers can beat the San Francisco 49ers, because that would help us out in the division standings as well. But for now, I'm really going to be excited to watch this game, and I think you should be too. At number 3, I have the Philadelphia Eagles. A loss, finally. It felt like it was just looming and looming and looming. This team was another team that was getting some comeback wins. They are the only team that beat the team above them, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But now they are 4-1 themselves. So obviously you'd say, Vince, Philly beat Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Why are they below them at this point in time? It's because Philly does not look as rock solid as the Buccaneers do. Obviously, Philly's defense is better, but the offense is just so dysfunctional. Are they going to be a passing team? Are they just going to be a strictly running team? Are they just going to be a dysfunctional team? I don't know. Offensively, they have great studs. They have A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, obviously Saquon Barkley, but these guys are not playing up to par, in my opinion. Obviously, the offensive line helping Jalen Hurts get all these points in fantasy is still a thing, but right now only putting 17 points against Denver, who does have a good defense, is just dysfunctional to me. So at this point in time, I think they are the third best team in the league. They could be a little bit lower, in my opinion, as well, but that's just how this one shakes out this week. They'll go against the New York Giants this upcoming week, and they should win this one. If they don't win this one in New York, it's going to be tough because that's two back-to-back losses, two back-to-back. I'm sure if they lose, horrible outings and showings on the offensive side of the ball. So then we'll have to really scratch our head and be like, is Philly really a top 10 team at all? Or are they just kind of sliding by? But tonight we'll see that Thursday Night Football. Hopefully it's just a killer game, and all you guys who have some fantasy players on Philadelphia and the New York Giants get the points that you need early on. But I think Philadelphia should take this one home. And at number 4, just because they're on a bye week, the Packers. Obviously, I think they could have been higher than the Philadelphia Eagles here, but I just can't say for sure at this point in time. I think if they really put a beat down on the Bengals here and move to 3-1-1 with that not so nice record there with a tie to the Cowboys, I think this will be all right. But hopefully during the bye week the Packers figured a lot out. I definitely think on the defensive side of the ball they need to play better, just like the Seahawks do. So every team has one game like that, and the offense of the Dallas Cowboys is not a joke at this point in time, in my opinion. They play pretty well. They get a lot of points up on the board, so that's a good thing there for them. But I thought the Green Bay defense would have been able to stop them, just like I thought the Seattle Seahawks defense could have stopped the Buccaneers just a little bit. But going into this next week, after the early bye week, the Green Bay Packers should get this dub against Cincinnati at home there in Lambeau. Another game at the 325 position. So we're getting a lot of those, either Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football, or the midway evening window there for these top 10 teams in my power rankings. So it's pretty nice. We get to kind of focus in on those teams and see exactly how they do versus the 12 o'clock window. But the Packers just need to fix a lot of things on defense. I feel like offensively they're playing pretty well. So we'll see what they do this week. At number 5, falling a few spots, the Buffalo Bills. Losing to a division rival is always tough. I'm somebody who has been dealing a lot with that against the 49ers as a Seahawks fan. But New England really came in here into Buffalo, and on the day where they wear their icy white uniforms, everything looks nice on the Buffalo Bills. New England Patriots came to spoil it, and it was pretty awesome to watch, in my opinion. I got the points that I needed in fantasy on this Monday Night Football game. But New England, man, what a statement win, right? But obviously this is about the Buffalo Bills. They just looked dysfunctional on offense. They weren't running the ball very well. Again, a divisional game, so sometimes the defenses play a little bit tougher on these offenses in the New England Patriots. And the Patriots don't have a bad defense. So we've said it again and again. New England has a great defense, but Buffalo should have been a little bit better, in my opinion, both with Josh Allen as well as with Cook. But it is what it is. Obviously, the passing offense there is still a struggle with not the number one wide receiver, but they do have a number one tight end in Kincaid, and he played well. But going against Atlanta on an away game here, this one could be a tough one on Monday Night Football. Another doubleheader for Monday Night Football here. We probably will be watching this game, but we'll let you know as it gets closer to Monday Night Football with Reed and I. Buffalo needs to figure some things out. They need that offense to start firing on all cylinders again, if they want to move up back into my power rankings here, and just continue to play the season very well. But Monday Night Football will be the time to show it again. Back-to-back weeks. Atlanta's a good team. They're not absolutely horrible, but this should be a win for the Buffalo Bills. Defensively, they just traded for somebody, I believe, from the Ravens. I could be mistaken there by the time that I'm recording this, but we'll see what happens. With the addition of that Ravens defensive end / linebacker. I think this will help their team out if they can get him up to speed by this game. But Atlanta, it could be a tough game for you, but with Bijan there, it could be a very equal matched game. So I'm looking forward to this one, to be honest. Let's see if Buffalo can pull out a win. At number 6, I have, the Indianapolis Colts. Did not think at the beginning of the season or throughout the entire minicamp and offseason that Indianapolis would be a team that I'd have in my top 10 this year. So I'm pretty astounded that they move up to 6 here, getting a huge, massive W against Las Vegas, 40-6. So very, very good there. Obviously, Geno Smith and that offense are having a lot of dysfunction with Brock Bowers out. But wow, only 6 points. So Indianapolis' defense played very well, obviously. But now they're going to go up against another team that has a good defense as well. So Arizona, an NFC West team. Obviously, the Seahawks beat them very slimly at that. But I think Indianapolis at home at the 12 o'clock window should be able to win this game. By how much, I don't know. But it doesn't mean that Arizona is just going to fold over. Obviously, they have some key players out, but they also have a team that can rally and come back and play a great game. We've seen it multiple times. They are a 2-3 team, but they play like a 4-1 team, in my opinion. They're always there at the end. They're trying to make some noise, trying to change the culture there. Obviously, their coach went off on one of their running backs there, DeMarcado, but he got fined for that. Hopefully, they learn from it, and hopefully this Sunday they can work better as a team and a unit and give the Indianapolis Colts a good game. But I do think Indy should win. I think they will astoundingly move up to 5-1 as long as their defense and offense keep firing on all cylinders with Pittman, Jonathan Taylor, Josh Downs, a whole bunch of other guys that are in the fold there. Warren, I can't forget about the tight end Warren. He's amazing. So as long as they play together as a team, I think they'll play fine. And hopefully they can beat Arizona and really show that Arizona is not a team to make the playoffs this week or this year. At number 7, I have the San Francisco 49ers here. They played well against LA, and that's with a lot of backups and everything like that. I really can't say enough about Bourne, the wide receiver there, Kendrick Bourne. I mean, he played amazing. Freaking Jason Bourne. But San Francisco played very well. Obviously, a lot of injuries there. CMC is still there, so he's the driving force of that offense. Fred Warner on the other side, as well as Collins, who had that massive fumble against LA and Kyron Williams to really seal that game and give them a chance to win it. I mean, all around, really good. Defensive, offensive side, moving up 4 spots here. It was a slim win, so that's the only thing there. But once they get back to full health, or at least even 50% health with their original starters, I think this team is a team to reckon with again. So right now it's tough sledding in the beginning of the season, but sitting at 4-1, it looks totally different than that. But once the injuries start to settle and everybody kind of comes back off of IR and ankle injuries, knee injuries, all that stuff, this team is going to look scary again. But this week is a tough one against Tampa Bay. We saw what they did to Seattle. I'm not saying that San Francisco is not better than Seattle, because they are at this point in time, even with some backups there. Kyle Shanahan is just an amazing coach. I cannot speak illy about Kyle Shanahan because he knows what the heck he's doing out there on the football field. But this one's going to be tough coming into Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is on a hot streak. I do think San Francisco will put up points, just like the Seattle Seahawks did. I do think Tampa Bay will put up points even against a tough, also injured San Francisco defensive team. A lot of rookies there. I think they'll exploit that. So it's going to be a very interesting game. Again, another mid-evening window here at 3:25 Central Time. It's going to be a one that's going to be on the quad box for me. So obviously, I'm rooting for Tampa Bay, but I wouldn't be surprised if San Francisco comes out with the dub here. And at number 8, my Seattle Seahawks. Taking the L, a tough L, man. I mean, I was super bummed taking the L there after we threw that pick Sam Darnold did. Man, it just sucks. But it is what it is. That's football. The other team made a better play. They got pressure on Sam Darnold, hit him while he threw, and got the interception. It's just a great play. We're going back and forth. I believe in the second half we had, even going into the second quarter when we had our first touchdown of the game, it was 7 straight drives with a touchdown. And the one that ruined it was the one that Seattle threw the pick there to ultimately lose the game. And then Tampa Bay kicks the field goal, and that's all she wrote. But Seattle's defense played super horrible. Mike McDonald ripped them a new one. He even told the reporters, he's like, we need to do better. I need to do better. This game's on me. The defense has a few injuries, as always, again. Guys are dropping like flies once they return. Witherspoon wasn't playing. But we really can't say a whole bunch. I'm just sad that Derek Hall has a pretty bad oblique injury, so he's going to be out for an extended period of time. He was one of our very good pressure off the line linebackers. So that's going to be a tough one to swallow there. Hopefully he gets back quicker than we anticipate, but at this point in time, Seattle has a tough matchup coming into this week, and it's in Jacksonville. This one's at the 12 o'clock window, so this is one that I will be watching just solely because that's what I always do with the Seahawks game. But this one's going to be tough. Jacksonville is coming off of a high, winning this game that they just did against Kansas City in a weird fashion for sure. But with Seattle's defense and the way they're playing right now, if they don't tighten up, Jacksonville is going to run all over us too with Etienne and obviously Trevor Lawrence. But I think we can definitely get the best of them. I hope that we move to 4-2 here. But Seattle needs to get their act together on the defensive side because the offense is playing out of their mind and they need some help. So hopefully the Seahawks do well, and hopefully they end up moving up after this week. At number 9, I have the LA Rams. Yeah, back to back. NFC West teams, except the Cardinals, obviously. They don't deserve to be anywhere near here. But, a tough loss to San Francisco for the LA Rams. That's why I have them at 9 here. I do think that they could possibly be better than the Seahawks at this point in time, but they just didn't show it, losing to the San Francisco 49ers with some backups. Obviously, the Seahawks also lost to San Francisco, but that was against all their full starters, minus Kittle there when he got hurt halfway through the game. But in my opinion, LA should have won this game. They had everything going in their favor. They were favored by 8.5 points, but Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers came in there and just Hooba stomped it, man. They kicked their butt for sure. Losing by 3 here is pretty tough, but San Francisco just played a better game. All around offense, defense, special teams, everything. LA just bit the dust. This week they have the opportunity to beat a good team that is really, really injured and banged up. Lamar Jackson might not play for the Ravens here against the LA Rams, and that could be the benefit that they need. So, in my opinion, LA should win this game. They are favored again by a whopping 7.5 points against Baltimore. But that is way before we even know if Lamar Jackson is going to end up playing or not. So it could totally change by Sunday at 12 o'clock. I would like to watch this game, but I'll probably just be keeping tabs on my phone with Red Zone just to see how it's going. But if Baltimore has a whole bunch of injuries and the LA Rams, hopefully play better like they were playing before, Puka Nacua should go off and the LA Rams should win this game. But we'll have to wait and see. Again, this week in week 6 has a lot of good matchups, and I'm really excited to see what it has for fantasy purposes there. And last but not least, the Denver Broncos rounding out the top 10. They had a really good win against the Philadelphia Eagles here. I feel like their defense played really well, and Philadelphia played dysfunctional, but I can attribute that to Denver. Sitting at 13 last week, they moved up here 3 spots into the top 10, and I think it's very deserving. They have the opportunity to keep themselves in the top 10 if they play very well against the New York Jets this week. This one is going to be at 8:30 in the morning. Out there, it should be in London, I believe, playing on Sunday. So this is one that you have to watch on the NFL app, because that's where they're only streaming it. But it should be a good one in my opinion. New York has been playing, pretty bad as of points put on the board. But against Denver, who knows? In London, they could put up some actual good stats and points. But Denver is a tough defense. They also have a pretty decent offense with Sutton along with J.K. Dobbins running the ball. Bo Nix is looking a little bit better week to week, but mostly this defense is the one that gets it done. So in my opinion, Denver has the opportunity to show that they can be a better offense and maybe move up in the top 10 here. But I think this should be a win for them. They're favored by 7.5 as I record this on a Tuesday night. But at this point in time, Denver just looks like the better team. I hope that Justin Fields and the Jets can play a good game in London and give them a good one. But I think Denver might just be running away with this one. And obviously, guys, I do have the rankings from 11 to 20 here, as shown. Obviously, a lot of teams moving up, moving down. A lot of teams on bye this week. I've already ran through one of them, but 3 other teams, like the Bears and a couple of others, had some bye weeks. And obviously, a lot of moving up and down, as you can see. But here is also 21 through 32. I am very, very proud of the Titans beating the heck out of the Cardinals. So they move up a couple of spots there. Same thing with the Miami Dolphins moving up, playing some better football. Same for the Saints. You know, everybody's playing a little bit better. So it's good to see these teams getting some momentum. But I just love seeing that the Cardinals keep losing because I don't think they deserve to be a talked about NFC West team to win the division or anything like that. But same thing for the Patriots, playing very, very well, very deserving of that win that they went out there and grinded out against the Bills. So moving up pretty high in my rankings there. But other than that, guys, hope you like this video. Make sure you leave a like, leave a comment. And if you have any reservations on why your team should be higher or another team that you don't like should be lower, go ahead and join the Discord. Let me know personally. I have 2 profiles in there, so you can look at any one of them under Vince the Prince or Vince the Prince 5. You know, just look for me. You know, send me a DM and let me know what I should be doing better on these Power Rankings videos. But other than that, guys, thank you. And as we always say, keep on